and welcome to the live coverage of the Digital Swiss 5 fan race. I'm your host, Kira McVitie, and I'm here with my other half,
Jacob Hennessy. I'm a pro cyclist for Canyon DHB, and I'm actually going to be stupidly taking part in these races and giving them a go and see what they're all about. I've just got a good look in of the race itself from the pro race that's just been, and scary numbers, and I'm more nervous than ever.
So I'm sure that Jake will give his input on the commentary, but once we get going, I imagine there'll be a little bit less talking from Jake and probably a bit too much talking from me. So we've mentioned there that there is a pro race. What's great about the Digital Swiss 5 on Rouvy is that every day of this series, there's 5 races in the series, you're going to be able to see the pro race, and then you have the opportunity to race the fan race immediately after that on exactly the same route, same course, and test yourself and see how you compare really with those professional riders. Earlier today we had the pro race of stage 1. They took on quite a fair bit of climbing, and Rohan Dennis took the win in that pro race. Very impressive ride, but not too surprising, seeing as he's double world time trial champion. He didn't even look like he was breathing, but no. he did say that he actually found it quite hard. But he made it look very, very easy. Also up there in the pro race, you had second place was Nicholas Roach, and coming in third place was James Whelan, both with climbers, time trialists. You actually know James Whelan personally, don't you?
Yes, I mean, Jimmy stayed in a house in Belgium for a little bit, just ahead of the Tour of Flanders under 23, and he then went on to win that race. So he's definitely a hitter. But he's been doing a lot of Zwift. I know he's stuck in Girona. And yeah, I mean, it definitely suits this type of rider, these E-races, and the people, as we can see, that were winning. Rohan Dennis, double world time trial champ. Nicholas Roach, 2-time winner of the numbers.
Yeah, so even though it's only a 26.62 kilometre course, it doesn't sound like it would take that long, but the pros did it in around 53 minutes, which it's quite a long time because there is so much climbing. The elevation profile never really see that. So today's race is from Agarn to Leukerbad, and like I just said, 26.6 kilometres, but there's a few notable climbs in there too. The first climb up to split number 3, I believe, is at 12k, but you're pretty much climbing the moment you start this race. It then drops down again, and then you have another 2 slightly smaller climbs before you head up to the finish in Leukerbad. So how long have we got now until the race? It's actually about 10 minutes to go. Jake is currently looking at a warm-up screen on Rouvy. Quite a few people just starting their warm-up now. How do you like to prepare before a race or a virtual race?
Like this, really. Just get on. I'm trying to just spin the legs and just try to zone in a little bit, because I know it's going to really hurt and it's completely self-inflicted. So I'm actually the one who's just really got to switch on a little bit and try and give it my all. It's basically, like you said, a 55-minute time trial. So I hate time trials. So this is going to really suck.
So what kind of races would you say suit you normally?
A lot more like classic style racing, a lot of the longer efforts and things like that. A long race with sort of like short, punchy sprint type stuff. That's really my kind of thing. So this is going to really hurt. It's like a 1,200 meter climbing course in 26.6k. So it's really solid, mostly uphill. But yeah, it's going to be interesting.
Definitely. So we've got quite a few people coming to the kind of virtual waiting area where everyone's warming up. I am going to see if we can find out from our live stream helper how many riders we've actually got in the race today. I'm not sure. But
it was around
when
390.
390.
When I saw before, yeah.
Yeah, so when we did the live streams previously, we commentated on the Rouvy Spring Classics. They had around sort of 400, 500 riders tuning in to do a virtual race. It'd be pretty insane if they actually allowed 500 riders to compete in one race on the road. That doesn't really happen unless it's Grand Fondo.
Maybe, yeah.
And I've actually... Okay, so you actually learned how to get ready for Rouvy earlier today, and we've got a short video of that, so let's go to that now.
I'm Jacob Hennessy. I'm a pro cyclist for Canyon DHB, and I'm going to be taking part in the Tour de Suisse fan race on Rouvy. All you have to do is download the app, open it up on your device, and then just click register and you'll be ready to race. So we now have the turbo trainer on, just calibrated my own power meter and also calibrated the turbo. With races, especially e-racing, you're not really going to want to eat during the race because it's going to be a full out effort. They're never really more than an hour. So it's a good idea to try and get some food in maybe 3 hours before. And then once you're warmed up and you're ready to go, it's just a case of grip tight and hang on and enjoy. So,
welcome back. So Jake, it is actually really easy to get started on Rouvy, as we saw in that video there. Is there anything you'd like to kind of add? Any useful info?
I've had a few rides on Rouvy now. Never really been much for sort of indoor training, and then I tried these apps, and actually it does make it a lot more bearable, especially with things like Rouvy, where you can actually look at a road, and especially with the ones, they've got some augmented reality routes on Rouvy, and a lot of it's like the Climbs 100, which if you're from the UK you'll understand, and you can go off and ride the roads that, for instance, like riding roads in Yorkshire that I actually know. And yeah, it's really like an easy way to pass the time when you have to do some harder intensity around this crisis really at the minute. And I think even in winter, and it'll be a real benefit now that I know about it, when it comes to winter training, to get that intensity during lesser light. So
yeah, exactly. And I think one of my favourite things about Rouvy is sometimes you kind of forget a little bit that you're at home. You know, it's so much better than the old days when I used to turbo train. It would be staring at a wall, or you have the music so loud and you're just trying to get through it and watching the stopwatch gradually go down. Whereas with something like Rouvy, I do find that the time passes a lot quicker. It's quite cool to see some of the places like all over the world. Jake was riding in China the other day from the kitchen. You know, it's just crazy how many different routes they have. And I'm sure that with the popularity of indoor cycling, they are just going to keep adding more and more routes all around the world, which is really, really great. So we've only got, I believe, about 5 minutes until the race starts. Do you have any particular tactics going into this race, Jake?
Well, luckily, having just watched the pro race just before, I now know what sort of effort it takes. And we watched Durbridge and Whelan straight off at the start, whacking out 7.5 watts per kilo up the first part of the climb. And they pulled out a massive gap, and it looked like they were flying. But then Dennis just did exactly what he does best and just rode at a consistent tempo that was sort of unsustainable for most, and pegged everyone back, rode past them, made his distance over the top, and then just carried the same speed. So I think it's going to be a lot more like a time trial. Maybe a little bit of respite on some of the descents or something, but it's basically just going to be me trying to peg against myself on a rough 50-minute effort. Yeah, it's definitely going to be hard. We've got the lights you can obviously see on all the cameras. No fan. We don't have a fan, and we can't have the window behind us open because we do live on a reasonably busy road. So I'm already sweating, and I'm doing 110 watts, and I know that it's going to take around 400 to do anything in this race. So
yeah, definitely. Even though this is the fan race, there's a lot of keen and very serious cyclist. I saw just quickly Joseph Metelka, who's actually a paracyclist. I believe he's been to the Paralympics. I'm pretty sure he's current world para champion. I'm not sure at what event, but yeah, there's some definitely some quick cyclists here. So I'm just trying to see if I recognise anyone else's name on the start list. Obviously, the main person I know is you.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking forward to this though now. I was nervous a minute ago, but countdown's coming. We've got 2.5 minutes to go before the start. Just get on with it now. I'm already in. I'm ready to go. So bring it.
Yeah, definitely. Any top tips for indoor training?
I mean, ask me at the end. I'll let you know. I think my top tips are, especially on something like this, it's going to be consistent. So I'm going to try my best to demonstrate and lead by example, but I'll try my best to try and smooth the curve and try and ride at one consistent speed and one consistent power. And that's, I think, going to be my aim, not to go too hard, not to try and blow too early, and just see what ends up. And it's one of them. I would recommend always having a fan and good amount of hydration, but I mean, got to take what I can get at the minute, and we can't have the fan, so I'll just keep drinking more water. But I'm already sweating. Luckily, I'm wearing a climber's jersey, but it is starting to get warm already.
Yeah, definitely. So, sorry to interject there, Jake. We only have 2 minutes now until the start of this race. Stage 1 of the Digital Swiss 5 goes from Agarn to Leukerbad, 26.62 kilometres. It's based in the south of Switzerland, I believe. I can see mountains on the screen, and it's going to be a hard day out, there is no doubt. For the pros, they finished this stage in around 53 minutes, just over 53 minutes. Rohan Dennis taking the pro win earlier today. I think that in the fan race, they will get pretty close to that, and I reckon the first finisher will be in around an hour. But what I would say is, this is an hour flat out. It is an hour at threshold, so it's not going to be easy for anyone. If you're joining us live on Instagram, a few of you are asking me where you can watch the Digital Swiss 5. You can head over to Cycling Pulse on Facebook, on YouTube. It's being streamed live there. So if you want to see the actual race, the virtual thing, you can't see it on Instagram, but you will be able to see it on Facebook. So I am just looking for a countdown. We must be surely.
At the top. We've got 14 seconds, right? Let's
Okay,
get ready to go.
Yourself ready. We're going in
7.
5 seconds. 2, 1. Go, go, go!
One consistent speed.
Okay, so everyone is setting off now. It is going to be a mad dash out of Agarn in southern Switzerland. I can't help but admire the scenery, but currently it is it is chaos everywhere. And I'm just watching where Jake is. Jake's currently in about 47th place at the minute. But he's moving up, and everyone is going flat out at this point. We are currently watching stage 1 of the Rouvy Digital Swiss 5 fan race. So anyone who's anyone is here right now. Okay. I am just trying to see where people are. It's all together at the minute. They're on a flat section really at the moment, but very, very soon, in a matter of 2 or 3 kilometres, they will hit the first climb of the day. The first climb split, the climb summit, is about 12k in, so very shortly they will start their climb. We've got a few people up there. Pascal Moser, wonder if there's any relation to the great Francesco Moser. And Jake is currently in there around 70th place, but honestly at the beginning everyone is chopping and changing because we are on this flat section, like I said, before we hit the climb. Leading the way at the front is F. Pasqualini, doing around 4.6 watts per kilo. He's got a small advantage of around 10 meters over the second place rider, L. Boxler. And honestly, it's really hard to pick apart the top 10 at the minute because they're constantly chopping and changing due to the fact, obviously, that we're on this flat section at the moment. But like I say, a lot of the riders riding consistently at around 4.5 to 5 watts per kilo, which is, you know, very difficult for anyone, I would say. So let's have a look. I'm picking out names. Currently, I don't recognise any of these riders, but like I say, this is the fan race. So you have amateurs from all over the world joining in this race. This is probably the biggest race going on today across the world, and it's right here. .com. You can sign up there, and if you go onto race.rudy, you can register to take part in the upcoming Digital Swift 5 races.
And there we go. Well, jumping around quite a bit, but not much below 350 and not much more than 450, but I'm sat 65th.
Well, what we saw in the pro race is that actually Rohan Dennis didn't lead from the start. He paced his effort much better, being the great time trialist he is. He knew he had roughly an hour's worth of effort. So he was actually quite a way back in the beginning, and James Whelan was out in front, and slowly over the course of the 26 kilometres, James Whelan got brought back, Rohan Dennis took the lead, and then James Whelan, who had started so hard, Luke Durbridge, who had started so hard, they actually fell back a little bit and ended up 3rd and 4th, I believe. So it is about pacing, and I think a lot of people get excited, particularly when it is a race. So a few of you on the live chat are saying, go on, Jake, woo!
I'm trying to pace myself nicely because this first climb starts around a K from now, and it's a good solid 9 kilometres. So it's a good 20 minutes, 25 minutes worth of effort. So this is going to hurt. I'm already starting to suffer, and we're 5 minutes in. I'm already starting to bead up and sweat. But we'll carry on. I'll drag my way up.
So we're only about a kilometre to go until we hit the bottom of the climb. Just trying to see if I can get your comments up on the Facebook page. Let's see if we've got any questions. Okay, so we are 3.8 kilometres into this race, and we're coming up to split 2 in around 300 metres. Frederic Pasqualin is currently our leader through split number 2 in 5 minutes and 12 seconds. He is riding absolutely storming race at the minute. Really, really impressive.
And there we go.
So we're just about to hit the climb, and I can hear already that Jake's turbo has started to alter that gradient, increase that difficulty. And I can see now that Jake's pushing well over 400 watts at around 5-6 watts per kilo, and he's moving up gradually. Currently, let's have a look on the overall.
68.
Everyone.
66.
Come on, Jake.
64. It's on the downhill. Okay.
So this is really where Jake will start, hopefully making up that ground. He's currently in around 60th place, but moving up quickly. I'm just trying to see who's leading us. So this is going to be a really hard effort. We've got about another 10 kilometres until we get up to the top of this first mountain. We're climbing out of Agarn, up the side of this mountain. Jake won't have much time to look at the views on the right-hand side, but they are quite nice, Jake.
Cheers, thanks.
Oh, we're just coming into the first hairpin. It's really starting to grip now. Really starting to grip. And you can see the fudge is slowly starting to split. And as you can hear, if you're following the live stream, it is that turbo resistance just keeps going up and up and up. Keep it going, Jake. So split number 3, we've just been through split number 2, is 12 kilometres in. Rohan Dennis in the pro race hit this split number 3 at 28 minutes and 17 seconds. So we have done up to this point around 7 or 8 minutes. It's really, really too hard. And if you hadn't looked at the course profile before, I think you'd be regretting it about now.
I don't know how much commentary I can do like this.
That's all right.
Hell. I just keep going. We're at 10, 12% now. And it definitely feels like it. It really is.
So currently we're following 4th place Varini Alfin, who is bashing out 6 watts per kilo, and he's moved up into 3rd place. Now 2nd place, he is on an absolute stormer. So currently the top 5, the top 10 are playing cat and mouse. They're back and forth. It's hard to say at this point who is going to draw clear. One of the exciting things about the amateur races is we have no idea who the favourites are. We have no idea who is going to take the win today. But that's the point of this race. It's exciting and it's really going to be a good one today. So looking at the numbers now, then we have N Hug, who is doing, wow, almost 7 watts per kilo, tickling 7 watts per kilo. Not sure that 7 watts per kilo will ever be a tickle, but he is pulling ahead and he has about 20 metres advantage over Varini Alfin at present. But all of these riders in the top 5 are banging out 6 watts per kilo. Just to put that into perspective, Chris Froome can hold 6 watts per kilo, 6.5 watts per kilo for, you know, the end of a Giro stage. So for these riders to even be riding anywhere near that up at this point, either they've gone out too hard or they are absolutely flying.
Bloody hell, this is hard.
So Jake's into 29th place. He is still going strong. 28th place. He's just picking them off.
I'm just riding at 400 watts. And I'll do no more for now. We've got 40 minutes, 45 minutes left. And this is just like, feels like a UK crit. Just everyone's going out super hard at the start.
And as you can see, we're snaking up the first mountain and riders are just all over the road. It's splitting everywhere. Everyone's starting to really feel the pinch of this climb. And I can hear just from Jake's turbo the
15%.
amount of effort that is going in right now. We are 5.5 kilometres in to the 26.6.
Only 21 to go. Only 21 left. I'm a fifth of the way.
And you're going strong. So Jake's currently in 24th place. But looking up to the leaders at the minute, Varini Alfin and N Hug are toing and throwing between the leaders' position. And there's only 100 metres between the top 6 at the minute. So it's still all to play for at this point. And remember, there's still quite a few climbs. So it's hard to say at this point whether people have gone too hard or if they've paced their effort to perfection. So if you've just joined us on the live stream, we are currently commentating the fan race of the Digital Swiss 5 series. This is where fans get to do the same race as the pros. And today we are doing Moudon Leukerbad, which goes from Agarn to Leukerbad. It's in southern Switzerland, very picturesque, mountainous part of the world in the south of Switzerland. Okay, so just looking back at the top 5 at the minute, the top riders are still putting out over 6 watts per kilo, but I can see that the paces are slowly starting to relax a little bit, or not relax, but slow down somewhat. There is very, very little distance between all these riders. We're currently following T. Hanlon, who's only 100 metres away from the lead at present. He's putting out 5.5 watts per kilo at the minute.
I do think it is steep at the bottom of the climb, from what I remember. But I hope so. I hope I'm right. It's just unrelenting. 11%, 10%. It's a super, super steep climb. At least where I am anyway. Leaders might find it a bit easier. But I'm suffering. 4.5, well, 6.4 watts per kilo then. And it feels like it. I hope this climb doesn't go for the whole 50 minutes.
No, so with the first climb summit is 12 kilometres. Rowan Dennis, the winner of the pro race, did that in 28 minutes and 17 seconds. I imagine that the amateurs will take a little bit longer than that, but you're looking around 30 minutes up to split number 3, which comes at 12 kilometres. I don't know if we have the power average data of what Rohan Dennis did up to split 3, but it'd be really interesting to potentially see that. But from watching the race, we know that he was riding, particularly at the start of the race, at around 7 to 8.5 watts per kilo. He maxed out at the bottom of the climb. So he really wanted to send a message. So Jake's currently up to 15th place. He's having an absolutely amazing ride. I think potentially he's paced it slightly better.
I've actually knocked the pace off there a bit. I just couldn't sustain that for the whole duration. So I've had to come down a little bit. Really just try and reevaluate. Not trying to set the world on fire, but I don't want to come to a stop.
No, I can understand that. So currently our leader is Verini Alpin, putting out 5.1 watts per kilo, 5.4 watts per kilo. And he's doing around 27 kilometres an hour up this climb, which is really seriously impressive. In second place, we've got Nikki Hug from Switzerland, who's doing around 5 watts per kilo. And currently in third is Marcel Weiss, also from Switzerland. So the Swiss have come out in force to support their home race, their home virtual race, the Digital Swiss 5. So what's quite unique about the Digital Swiss 5 is that you get the opportunity in the fan race to ride like a pro and follow the same course on Rouvy that the pros take on the same day. Earlier in the day, they race this course. And I think it's great to be able to have that opportunity to ride like a pro and give it a go, just like they do earlier in the day.
Wow, it's too hot there.
Do you want me to open the window?
These lights, they're killing me.
So currently we are in a makeshift home studio commentary booth, but it isn't the most ideal for turbo racing. We don't have a fan, so it's a little bit warm. So looking at Jake is currently in 15th place, doing around 5 to 6 watts per kilo at the minute, around 400 watts which is seriously, seriously impressive. You can see he's coming through the riders now. It'll be really interesting to see where Jake ends up at the top of this climb as he's gradually moving up the pack. Currently on board with M. Flurry at the minute, who's doing around 4 watts per kilo. There are so many watts being pushed through these pedals at the minute. So quickly, we just want to say that we're going to head to a quick ad break, but we will be back right after with some more race coverage.
Open the window. I can't do it. I'm going to pass out if I keep going like this. Oh, I've caved. I don't care about the noise from the road. You'll all have to deal with it. I can't do this. I'm going to fall over sideways if I keep going like this.
Okay, so the window's open. We don't want Jake to pass out from his efforts. So a few of you are asking, how do you get involved with the Rouvy fan race? So what you need to do is head to race.rouvy.com and you can register for the Digital Swiss 5 fan races. They have today's race, but then the following 4 days, we also have races on each day at 6 o'clock UK time. So you can go ahead and join them on the website. So Jake is really starting to feel the pinch now, but he has moved up into 10th place, which is really impressive. You can see from the steepness and the switchbacks of these climbs that this is no easy feat. Currently we're following the leader who's doing around 460 watts currently.
I can't do that.
Oh, he's back down to 400 watts.
Wuss. I'm coming for you.
So if you do have any questions, please let me know. I haven't got my glasses on, but I will try and read them from a distance.
Oh my God. What a stupid idea this was.
Okay, so Jake is currently sitting in 10th place. We are 20 minutes into the race at the moment, and we are around 4 kilometres from split number 3. This is a really impressive ride by all these riders here. Okay, so looking at the top riders at the moment, they are all consistently doing 4 to 5 watts per kilo, which is really, really impressive for amateur riders. And it's really incredible how quick they are going up this climb. Do let us know if you have any questions, and I will endeavour to answer them. Those of you who are watching on Instagram, we are currently streaming the Digital Swiss 5, which is on Rouvy exclusively. And if you want to join in the fan race, there's going to be a fan race every day this week, following the pro races of the Digital Swiss 5, and you can join them. There's a lot more info on that over at rouvy.com. And if you head to race.rouvy.com, you can register for this race and get involved. And we'll be commentating on you tomorrow, potentially.
No way is the leader over that. Can we show this leader, please?
No, the leader's not at the top yet. The leader is here.
Thank you for that. There's a little red dot halfway down. I might be seeing things.
There is on this screen, but that's incorrect.
Okay.
Yeah, currently Rouvy Alphin is, he's 700 metres ahead of you, so it's not that far ahead. So just a lowdown of the top riders at the minute. Currently in first place, we have Rouvy Alphin. In second place, we have N Hug. He's riding currently at about 5.5 watts per kilo. M Vice has just taken second place, riding at 5.9 watts per kilo. So they are neck and neck at the minute. In fourth place, we have T Hanlon, who's 160 metres down. He's riding at just under 5 watts per kilo. We've got M Mercado, 124 metres down at the minute. In sixth place, we have G Basson, who is currently riding at 5.5 watts per kilo. We have in seventh place M Smith, 180 metres down. Eighth place is D Vice. Ninth place is S Morabito. And currently 10th place is Y Reese. He is about 350 metres home. 350 metres behind, sorry. In 12th place is our own Jacob Hennessy. He's right here doing the Rouvy fan race. And I don't think he is going to be able to comment at all at this point because he is riding at 400 watts at the moment. That is a lot of power. 450 watts. Sorry, I stand corrected. I reckon I could do about 400 watts for maybe 30 seconds. Maybe, like on a good day. So we've got a few top riders up there at the minute. We've got people from all over the world. We have 4 Swiss riders in the top 10, 2 British riders in the top 10. We have South African Gustav Basson from Pro Touch Continental team. And leading the way, we're not sure where he's from, we're not sure what team he rides for, but Rouvy Alphin is our leader on the road at the minute. And he has completed 9.8 kilometres of the course up to this point. The third time split of the day is at 12 kilometres. That comes at the first summit of the day. Rohan Dennis, the winner of the Rouvy Digital Swiss 5 Pro race, which happened earlier today, got to split number 3 in 28 minutes and 17 seconds. I don't think these riders will be quite up to Rohan Dennis, double world time trial champion standards, but they will be not far behind, I can assure you, because these riders are all consistently riding at 4 or 5 watts per kilo in the top 10. Really, really impressive at the minute. So currently the gradient is around 8.5%. For those of you who do a fair bit of climbing, you'll know that that is quite steep, particularly for a climb that is around 8 kilometres long. It's really going to start to bite towards the top, and we only have around 3k left on the climb now. So it's a last push up the top of this climb. We get a small amount of respite for the riders before we take on the next 2 climbs of this stage. If you didn't check the race profile before on Rouvy, then I'm sure you will be quite annoyed at this point that there is so much climbing, but it makes for a really good race. And for us as commentators, we get to enjoy the lovely mountainous scenery that you can see on the Rouvy app. And we can just see now the avatars coming round that hairpin there. Jake's up into 8th place at the minute. He has been picking off the riders one by one. All the more impressive with no fan, might I say, also.
You're my fan.
I'm your fan. Woo, go Jake! do send us your support for Jake.
No rest.
No rest for the wicked, Mr. Hennessy.
No rest.
So we are 10 kilometres into this race at the minute. There is 2 kilometres left until we get to that split number 3. Chris Hall says, dig deep, Jake.
Nice one, Chris.
Piece of cake, Jake. That rhymes almost.
Not.
So this is not easy for anyone, as I'm sure you can agree. Jake is right in the midst of it at the minute, and as you can see from the screen, he is quite shiny, he's very sweaty, he is giving everything up this climb right now. 27 minutes of racing completed up to this point, and we are 10 kilometres into the race. The full entirety of this race, which finishes in Leukerbad, is 26.6 kilometres long. Don't ask me to convert that into miles because I have no idea, but it's a very hilly course. So the pro race, which happened earlier, the leader
17.
completed it in 53 minutes. The winner of the pro race being Rohan Dennis.
So that's 17 miles, this thing in total.
17
I'm sat here
miles.
working out in my head because it's the only thing that helps me get on with it.
So currently Jake is in 9th place, for those of you following along, and he's only 5 or 6, 7 metres behind 8th place. So a lowdown of the top 10. The top 3 hasn't changed much since we started the climb. Marini Alpin is, wow, 234 metres ahead of 3rd place at the minute. We have M. Weiss in 2nd place, followed 70 metres back from him is N. Hug. They're all riding at around 5 watts per kilo. Really impressive stuff. But it's not over. It is not over, and we have 16.6 kilometres of this race left. We're coming up to the top of the first climb of the day, which finishes at 12k in. But after that climb, we also have another climb before we then rise up to the finish line in Leukerbad. Very quaint little towns all round here as we snake through these really, really beautiful houses and steep hairpins as well. Look at that. Wow. It's really amazing that we're able to ride in Switzerland from the comfort of your own home. And you too can ride like a pro in the Digital Swiss 5. For those of you who've just joined us, we are commentating on the fan race of the Digital Swiss 5. What's great about Rouvy is with this Tour de Suisse race, the pros will take on the route, and then you yourself have the opportunity to take on the same route and suffer along up this gruesome terrain. .400 watts. Jake is still putting out, and he is really sweating. It's hurting for everyone at this point. I'm sure that even though we can't see the top couple of riders, everyone will be in their pain caves, their garages, their offices, on their turbo, joining along with the race on Rouvy and giving it the best that they possibly can. It's not easy. And we are rising up to around 9–10% at the moment. There is around 1 kilometre to go to the summit. As you can tell, the climb is really starting to bite.
Oh, I got that.
There's a small amount of respite now as we come up towards the split number 3. So do send us in any questions you have for myself or Jake. I'm not sure Jake will be able to answer them that well at present, but I will endeavour to answer them. If you have any questions about Rouvy itself or the Digital Swiss 5, do let me know. I am currently watching the comments on Facebook and Instagram. So High Top 7 says, what is this? This is the Digital Swiss 5. It's a virtual fan race which is being held on Rouvy. You yourself can join along on the subsequent days of the Digital Swiss 5. All you have to do is head to rouvy.com and you can register for the Digital Swiss 5. There's a pro race earlier in the day, and then after the pro race is the fan race, which you can join along with, just like Jake is doing right now behind me. Go Kid says, plus pass him a gel. I don't think a gel is really going to help right now.
They do nothing.
No, they're in the last kilometre of this climb now, and they are really pushing on over the top. Jake is still in the top 10 and riding really strong. So the pro race earlier in the day, Rohan Dennis took the lead at about 10k in. We're on the fan race, we're around 11k in at the minute, and this is the part where Rohan Dennis really started to cement his lead over James Whelan at this point. So this is the part that perhaps matters the most based on the earlier pro racing we've seen. And if you are going strong and well at this point, I think that it is possible to hold it to the finish, as the pros showed earlier. Okay, so I believe that we have the sports director of Team Sunweb on the line, possibly.
Yes, I'm here. You can hear me? Can you hear me?
Oh, hello. How's it? Is that Luke Roberts?
This is Luke Roberts. Yes. Hi.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks. Yeah, I'm enjoying some bike racing.
Oh, very nice. How did the Sunweb boys get on earlier?
Yeah, quite well. We had two guys finish up there in second and fourth place. Two guys who have spent a lot of time on the home trainer over the past weeks. One of them locked up in Girona and another one in Monaco. And it showed that the experience there on the home trainer paid off when they came to the online racing.
Definitely, it does seem to help. So how do you think that this kind of racing and training helps Sunweb and the team, especially when we're not able to get back out on the roads at the moment?
Yeah, well, as I said, we have quite a few guys at the moment who are not able to train on the roads at all, so they are spending a lot of time on home trainers. And this is actually quite an interesting way to break up the daily grind and give them a bit more excitement in their training. These online races are quite intense, most of them around half an hour, 1 hour of very intense racing, but as I said, can add a little bit of excitement into their training and give them something to look forward to than just grind away on the trainer.
Yes, definitely. So what do you think to this whole Rouvy digital racing thing?
I found it quite interesting today, watching the pro race. I think Rohan Dennis is also a worthy winner. He is a good climber. He's a good time trialist, and as we can see, that over a parcours like that, on the steep climbs, he could still push a very high power to weight ratio, and a sustained effort over 50 minutes, just over 50 minutes. He is the best in the world. So. Very worthy winner, and it was quite interesting to follow the guys and see how it all unfolded.
Yes, exactly. Do you think that there are any tactics that can really be played, or do you feel that, you know, it is the time trialists and good power to weight ratio guys who are going to come to the forefront here?
Yeah, well, definitely can be some tactics in it. I mean, from actually the using the platform itself, so understanding how the gradients are going to feel, how it reacts on downhills, how much you need to keep pushing. Having the experience with that, knowing how the feeling will be in a race. So the guys who have the experience on the trainers will have the upper hand there. Obviously, the setups at home can be a factor. Those that have some experience also know that a fan can come in very handy. Everything you need there at hand, drinks, an effort over 50 minutes, perhaps even gels, etc., to keep the energy up.
So how hard do you feel like these races, these virtual races, are compared to in real life on the Swiss roads?
Yeah, obviously on a real race in Switzerland, if we were there, the endurance factor would be play a bigger role than it would in a shorter, intense race. As I mentioned, this is more like a time trial, sustained effort. But still, you know, as we've seen with the result, that it's still quite comparable. You still see the power to weight ratio there. You know, the riders that were good climbers were also coming to the front.
Yes, exactly. Sorry.
A quick one. Are the riders that did today's race, are they taking part in all 5?
No, we will switch our lineup each day. Yeah. Tomorrow we have a different 3, and then it's a flatter race, and on the race 3 we'll go back to the same 3 riders who did today's race.
So are there tactics then involved in the choice of riders, or is it just a case of who wants to do it?
No, we looked at the parcours and also chose our lineup based on that. So the riders tomorrow are faster guys, sprinters, time trialists that can have probably stronger on a parcours, on a more flatter parcours. So, yeah.
What do your riders think to getting stuck into some virtual racing? Have they done much before?
Yeah, well, I mean, some of them at the moment, that's the only choice they have. And as we said, Nicholas Roche today was second in the pro race. He was also up there, 3rd place in the Darunda lockdown a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
So he's spending a lot of time on his home training. He's really enjoying to get into some online racing as well. So
is it fair to say Roche will now focus on Flanders for next season?
Well, it's I mean, he showed those short, punchy climbs. He also can do quite well. So yeah, we'll introduce him to some real cobblestones and.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, cobblestones aren't quite the same on a trainer.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, lovely. Thanks so much for joining us and giving us your insight. That's Luke Roberts, sports director from Team Somewhere. Thank you very much.
No problem. Thank you.
Cheers. Thanks.
Okay, so I've got a few more questions coming in from Instagram. Where are we? A couple of people asking when Jake started cycling, but honestly, I think at this point...
About 41 minutes ago.
So we're 41 minutes into the race. Jake can't answer any technical questions at present, just purely because
energy to bluff.
He is mid-race.
I just hold my breath and pretend like it doesn't hurt.
Okay, so we are 41 minutes into the race, 16.4 kilometres of racing complete, and it's starting to kick up now.
Again.
So it's only 2 or 3%, 5% now, 6, 7%. So they're really starting to hit the bottom of this climb now. Jacob is in 10th place at present. Just trying to see if you've got any questions. Very cool to have sports director Luke Roberts from Sunweb just give his thoughts from the team Sunweb, who obviously competed in the Digital Swiss 5 Pro race earlier today. Okay, so we are really getting into it now.
I was not expecting it to be this up.
As we can see, Weiss has actually taken the lead. Verini Alton has dropped into 3rd place. Weiss putting out over 5 watts per kilo at present on the first stage of the Digital Swiss 5. Really impressive stuff. 2nd place is 200 meters back. That's Hug and Verini Alton, who was our leader earlier on the day on the first climb. He is currently 300 meters back, putting out 4 to 5 watts per kilo at the moment. But as you can see, compared to the start, there are riders all over the shop on this course. The moment they hit the climbs, it really starts to splinter, and the men are sorted out from the boys. Okay, we are 17 kilometers in at present. Jake is in 11th place and going strong. The top 10 hasn't changed much since we hit the first climb. There's a few different names on there. In 10th place, we have Takis Shorus. I'm not sure how to exactly say that. Matt Smith in 9th, Dominic Weiss in 8th, Steve Morabito in 7th, and your leader out in front, 170 metres to the good, Weiss, doing a sterling ride. He is at 18.7 kilometres in. So we're coming to the business end of the race now. This whole stage from Agarn to Leukerbad is 26.62 kilometres, around 17-ish miles. Well, there's a lot of climbing in it, around 1,475 metres of elevation gain over the total stage. This is not an easy course for anyone. And as we saw earlier in the pro race, it is really tough and suits the big power riders, the big power to weight riders. And Rohan Dennis, double world time trial champion, sealed the victory earlier today. It's looking as though Weiss has the strength at the moment, as he is over 300 metres ahead at present, with Hug riding around 5.5 watts per kilo in 2nd place. Oh, sorry, I stand corrected. Verini Alton is in 2nd place. He's doing 8 watts per kilo at present. Oh, and he's back to 4 watts per kilo. I think he got excited there for a minute. Okay, so from the studio, our makeshift quarantine cabin, Jake is putting out 4 watts per kilo at the minute, around 400 watts. And he is in 12th place and giving it the beans as we come up this 2nd climb of the stage. So a couple of you asking what power Jake is riding at the minute. Currently he is over 400 watts, between 400 and 420 watts. 460 watts. This isn't reading the same power as on there. Okay, so we are 17.7 kilometres into this race at the moment. It is really starting to split up, and many riders are putting out well over 4 or 5 watts per kilo. This is a maximal effort. It is the maximum hour power that you can sustain. But one of the different factors about Rouvy is obviously if you're connected to a smart trainer, you're going to feel the elevation difference as you go up, as you go down. you're going to feel the resistance on the turbo change. So that adds another dynamic to just putting out an hour of straight power. You have to really push as if you were on the real roads. Okay, so I believe that we are coming up to split number 4 very shortly. I can't remember what kilometre distance split 4 is, but I believe it is around 20k in. So currently today we have around 300, 400 riders taking part. Really, really impressive turnout for the first stage of the Rouvy Digital Swiss 5. Jake is going strong. I do believe we have another ad break, so stay tuned. We will be back shortly with the race coverage. Jake is really strong. So for those of you on the Instagram live stream, Francisco Fix is asking how many watts you pump in. Jake is currently pumping watts up this climb. Really, really impressive. Bearing in mind this is 50 minutes into the race. Jake's going really strong.
This is ridiculous.
He's holding his own. And it's about 16% at the minute. This is really, really, really steep at this point. So currently the leader is M Vice, still bashing out over 5 watts per kilo and going strong. We are around 22 kilometers into the race. So that means we are into the final 5k of this race. But might I remind you that it does start going uphill towards the end. This is by no means an easy race route from Agarn to Leukerbad. This is the first stage of the Digital Swiss 5. So for those of you who aren't sure what we're commentating on, it is the Digital Swiss 5 over on Rouvy. And you yourself can get involved by heading to race.rouvy.com. You can register and you yourself can take part in the fan race. What's great about the Digital Swiss 5 is they have a pro race earlier on in the day and then the fan race shortly after that. So join in the next coming days. It's going to be today and the next following 4 days after today. And we would love to commentate on you heading around Switzerland, riding like a pro. Okay, so Jake is currently 19 minutes in at the minute in 12th position.
19 minutes in, 19k
19k in.
52 minutes in. I've blown. That's it. I've got nothing left. I've overheated and I'm completely done. I've got 6k left to try and stuff around But
well, you're still
put a
overtaking
fork in me.
people. You're still overtaking people, Jake.
Yeah.
So Jake is in survival mode at the minute. Obviously, this is a hour flat-out effort, so it's very difficult to be able to pace it exactly. And in the studio here, our makeshift quarantine studio, there is no fan, and we have some quite hot lights. So Jake is doing a sterling job of getting it done on Rouvy. This is the first time that Jake's done a Rouvy virtual race, and I think it's a lot harder than he perhaps expected. It's definitely misleading when you see the pro race earlier in the day and you see the pros suffering, yes, but they don't seem to be completely ruined. But this is an hour.
Worth noting as well, I am a pro cyclist. This is a very hilly course. It's nearly 1,200 metres and 26k. So nearly all uphill. And boy, do you notice the gradient. When it really kicks up, it just comes to a stop, and I'm in 39.11, nearly 400 watts, just trying to keep the thing moving. We've got another beauty of a section here, apparently. Oh.
Keep it going, Jake. We are 20k in. We're coming into the final 6 kilometres for Jake. Just trying to see where the leaders are. So the leaders are coming into the last 4 kilometres. This is a really steep part of the course. And M. Vice has just left the field. And 6 metres back, is Barini Alfin, who has had a second wind. He was originally in the lead up the first climb, but he has crawled his way back after dropping down some positions, and he's now in second place, only a handful of metres, and he takes the lead ahead of M. Vice. This is really hotting up towards the final couple of kilometres up this climb. Can M. Vice make a comeback to catch Barini Alfin towards the top? Who knows? It's going to be a really tight one. Watching here, Enhug is in third place. He's around 300, 400 metres down at the minute. So it's looking like he might end up staying there. But honestly, the race for the top 10 is still all to play for.
You get rid of the split stuff at the bottom somehow. Can't see where the hell I'm going.
So we've just been through split 6. Jake's done split 6 in 54 minutes and 49 seconds. Okay, so we're really coming towards the grippy end, the business end of the race now. It's all to play for, but it seems like Barini Alfin is really pushing away now, potentially doing his last-ditch effort over the last couple of kilometres. Can he hold on? Jake is in 11th place, doing around 4 watts per kilo at the moment. He's really just trying to hold on to where he is at the moment and make it up this final climb of the day. I think it's fair to say Jake is a professional cyclist, although not a climber. Is that fair to say?
Very.
So this isn't a course that would necessarily suit him, but you're doing a good job. Okay, do let us know if you have any questions. If you would like to join in with the fan race tomorrow or the next couple of days, head over to race.rouvy.com and you can join in the fan race and ride like a pro. Okay, so we're following on board with Barini Alfin at the moment. He has pulled out around 200 metres on second place M. Vice, riding at 5.5 watts per kilo. He's really forging ahead now as he comes into the final kilometre? No. Yes, the last kilometre. So he'll be seeing that kilometre banner, the Flamme Rouge, very, very soon. as it comes downhill. I'm pretty sure that's the kilometre to go banner, so he will be really giving it everything now to hold on to the lead. Riding at around 6.5 watts per kilo there. Has he left M. Weiss and N. Hug for dead? Although saying that, M. Weiss is only 60, 70 metres back. So really, it could go either way at this point. It's just who could hold on in the final kilometre. Has Barini Alpin gone too soon? Has M. Weiss left it late? We really don't know at this point, but it seems that M. Weiss is having a second win too. And he's putting out over 6 watts per kilo. Really impressive. And he retakes Barini Alpin, who is now responding by hitting almost 7 watts per kilo there. It is going to be tooth and nail to this finish line. If you're on Facebook, you can vote. Who do you think will win, M. Weiss or Barini Alpin? It's really all to play for at the minute. These two have been toing and froing up the last couple of 100 metres of this race. Around 500 metres to go now. It's all to play for. This is really hotting up to be an exciting stage 1 of the Rouvy Digital Swiss 5 fan race. The M. Weiss is pulling ahead slightly now, has around 60 metres on Barini Alpin. It is really going to be hard to pick these two apart coming into the finish. We have about 300-400 metres left to go. It's going to be a flat-out sprint to the line now. M. Weiss has the advantage at the minute, but it's only 70 metres or so, and it is the last climb up to the finish line. M. Weiss hits 7 watts per kilo and takes the win. So M. Weiss takes the win in what time, though, is the question. Oh, sorry, he's not quite crossed the line yet. I'm jumping the gun. 50 metres to go. And he's still riding at over 6 watts per kilo. And Barini Alpin putting up a valiant fight for second, followed not far behind by N. Hug. And then M. Weiss crosses the line. He takes the win on the first stage of the Digital Swiss 5. He does it in 59 minutes and 10 seconds, which, bearing in mind, is only 6 minutes slower than the leading time of the pro race. Rohan Dennis won the pro race earlier today in 53 minutes. And there goes Barini Alpin, finishing only a handful of seconds behind. And N. Hug coming in 3rd place. He's going to hold on to 3rd place, I do believe. Coming into the final couple of 100 metres, he'll be able to see the finish line. He will know that the pain is almost over. This is 1 hour at threshold, at flat out as hard as you can go. And they are giving it everything. So following N. Hug at the minute, he is hitting over 400 watts as he comes into the last 200 metres. It's going to be all or nothing now for the line. The last push of the day. 150 metres to go for N. Hug, our 3rd place rider. This has been a truly exciting fan race on the first stage of the Digital Swiss 5 from Agarn to Leukerbad. Based in southern Switzerland, this stage. Very beautiful mountainous area of Switzerland. Not that the riders will be able to look around at the scenery. This being one of the hardest hour efforts they will have done in some time, I imagine. So there we go. N. Hug finishing in 3rd place. Crosses the line around 1.5 minutes behind the leader, M. Weiss from Switzerland, doing it for Switzerland, taking the win in the Rouvy Digital Swiss 5 fan race. Okay, so following Jake now, we have...
Oh, don't follow me. Sod off.
No.
Not in the mood. Oh.
Okay, so
That's
Jake
so
has
hard.
another 3 or 4 kilometres left on the climb now. This is a really tough stage. And we are going to be following in the riders coming in now. So Jake riding at over 4 watts per kilo. And it's the last push to the line. If you've enjoyed watching this fan race, you can head over to race.rouvy.com for some more information, and you can register to do all of the stages of the Digital Swiss 5, or you can just join in on a few of them. They're going to be held for the next 4 days. First of all, there'll be a pro race earlier in the day, and then you'll have your opportunity to take on the same course as the pros each day. And there's some really interesting parcours. We heard earlier from Lucas Roberts, the sports director of Team Sunweb, that they have specifically picked riders for each of the days, and they'll be rotating out their roster, as it were, for each stage to have the best riders for each of the stages that are going on. So earlier in the day, the leader of the pro race, Rohan Dennis, took the win in 53 minutes and 7 seconds. The leader today, Envice, an incredible ride from the Swiss rider, completed this stage in 59 minutes and 10 seconds. Just heard from our stream assistant that the first place woman on the road at the moment is E. Floros. Really impressive ride by her on what was a grueling 26.62 kilometre stage. Let's not forget that a lot of riders are still making their effort to the finish line now.
Some people doing the first climb still. That is a long ride.
Yeah, as you can see on the bottom graphic, that shows you all the riders across the race. And like Jake just said, some riders are still making their way up that first climb, which illustrates how tough this course is. So currently we're on board with Jake Hennessy, who's also right behind me, as well as seeing his avatar on the screen. He's riding at around 3.5, 4 watts per kilo at the minute on this downhill section. He's coming towards the finish of the race now. It's going to be a last push into the final kilometre or two. He's currently in 13th place, but just ahead is 12th, and I'm only 30 metres ahead.
If you've got any questions, get them in now, because I'm not going to be able to answer in about... Oh, no, there goes the climb. And we're off again.
So Jake is just taking on the final climb up to the finish line. If you do have any questions for Jake or I, do let us know. We will try and answer them as we watch Jake push home to the finish. So Ollie says, keep going, Jake. Chris says, keep it up, Jake. Really nearly there.
Inside that final K now.
So this is the last kilometre up to the line for Jake. He's doing a really, really great job. This isn't a course that necessarily suits him, but he's given it everything in what has been an hour-long effort at max effort. He's riding at around 5 watts per kilo at the minute, well over 400 watts at the minute. It is the last push up to the line now. So this is the final climb up to Leukerbad on the first stage of the Digital Swiss 5. This is the fan race. And currently, Jacob Hennessy, who's here with me in the studio, is making his final effort up the last kilometre of ascent into Leukerbad. You can see 12th place just in front of him. It's going to be a big push all the way up to the finish line. So currently only 7 riders have finished. We have Dominic Weiss to finish, who is looking like he's going to hold on to 8th. Matt Smith in 9th. Takis in 10th. Volker in 11th. James Fury in 12th. And Jake Hennessy, here with me at the minute, is in 13th. This is the last push up to the line now. Into the last 200 metres for Jake now. He's riding at 470 watts, 460 watts, 500 watts at the minute. Well over 6.5 watts per kilo at the moment. Really, really impressive ride as he comes into the finish. It's a flat out effort now as he comes into the last 75 metres. This is everything he's got. It's about 10%. It's into the finish line now. Almost there. The end is in sight and he crosses the line. 1 hour and 8 minutes, 13th place. Jacob Hennessy gives it everything and finishes off in 13th place in the first stage of the Digital Swiss 5. That was an all-out effort from everyone. A couple of riders coming in now. But something to note, you can join in these races over the next few days. If you head to race.rouvy.com, you can find out some more information there. And you can join in with the fan races. The fan races will be following the pro races every day of this Digital Swiss 5, and it would be great to commentate on some of your pain. So do get involved and let us know if you're going to be joining in, and we'll try our best to give you a shout out and follow you on the commentary too. How was that, Jake?
Hard. So hard. It just never let up.
I think that's the thing that's hard to convey when you're just watching this online. You know, you just see these little avatars, but everyone who is riding is at their maximal effort, regardless of whether they win or right at the back. It's the maximum effort for everyone, and I feel like with these virtual races, you really do have the opportunity to get the most out of yourself. So we would love for you to join in on future fan races on the Digital Swiss 5. More info on that on the race.rouvy.com. Join us tomorrow for stage 2 of the Tour de Suisse from Frauenfeld to Frauenfeld. Thank you very much for joining. From Jake and I, we will see you hopefully in the next live stream. But yeah, thanks for watching. Goodbye. Please do join us